day on the net. Extremist groups in the US take over the web. The Kazakh blogosphere criticises the authorities' apathy following the deadly flooding in the country. And the French presidential palace's website gets a makeover. In the United States, 9 members of a Christian militia group have been accused of plotting to kill a police officer and then attack other police at the funeral. They are all members of Patriot, a group based in the state of Michigan, which is extremely active on the web. And it was on the web that members of this militia group found manuals to build a homemade bomb. On their website, the group claims it is preparing to fight the Antichrist with weapons. This video, which is available on their YouTube channel, details the military training of Huttery soldiers who were prepared to defy the American government. Because President Barack Obama could be this Antichrist. At least this is what 14% of Americans think, according to a recent survey. His election stirred up America's radical right, and extremist militia groups known as Patriot groups have grown over the past few months. These paramilitary groups advocate conspiracy theories and use the web to spread their message. Some have their own web TV. And they believe that by arresting several members of Huttery, the American government has revealed its tyrannical nature. According to this web user, throughout the country, many militia soldiers are in a war mindset. This resurgence of extreme right-wing groups is a cause of concern for associations like the Southern Poverty Law Center. Here, their spokesperson says they fear a wave of violence will break out, as was the case in the 1990s, with the bombing of the Oklahoma City Federal Building in particular, which claimed 168 lives in 1995. A little over 2 weeks after the heavy flooding which hit southeastern Kazakhstan and killed at least 40 people, the local blogosphere is expressing its anger towards the Kazakh authorities and accuses them of doing nothing to help the victims. 2 citizen journalists went to the village of Egensu to testify to the fact that victims have been waiting for 2 weeks and nothing has been done to help them. They're circulating these photos taken at the scene to show that the fields and the village are still underwater. The lack of aid is illustrated in these shots. This blogger states that people in the disaster zones are still waiting for clothing and food products of prime necessity. She also says that the authorities do not yet feel it is necessary to start distributing these products. This Kazakh citizen criticizes the government's attitude and says by not taking action in the hours leading up to the storms, it is largely responsible for the high number of victims. He claims the authorities are trying to understate the consequences by not supplying an official report. And finally, this Kazakh web user shares his fear that further flooding will provoke other catastrophes in the country. He says that Kazakhstan's infrastructure and dams are in a deplorable state, and if the authorities do not begin their modernization work very soon, there will be considerable damage. France's presidential palace has published an updated version of its website. Web users can access press releases, speeches, President Nicolas Sarkozy's schedule, and also take a virtual visit of the Élysée Palace. The new portal quickly grabbed the attention of the French blogosphere, who found a problem in the English translation of the president's CV, as well as the site's resemblance to the White House's website, highly amusing. It is without a doubt the world's first virtual choir. 185 choir singers were brought together from 12 different countries and directed by the American composer Eric Whitacre. They recorded their parts separately, and the pieces were then assembled, as we see in this video that has been posted on YouTube. Reza Dolatabadi, a young Iranian artist based in Great Britain, set himself the challenge of creating an animated film entirely from paintings. This short film, which lasts 5 minutes, was his graduation film. It took him 2 years to paint the 6,000 pieces needed for this psychological thriller, which immerses you in the nightmare of a very troubled man.